Yo, voice of the people back. The money game is rigged, and for most people, they still can't see it. And that's practically what this video is about today. I went over so many different things in prior videos, but sometimes you just got to get right to the meat of everything, right? And what I'm saying is that we need to understand that everything that's been taught to you and told to you as a child and going into your adolescent era as well has been false. It's been wrong, man. It's like you're given these instructions to do this and do that, but at the end of the day, those instructions aren't made for a specific game, right? And that's the money game. And for example, if you are a sports athlete and you go up against a team that's undefeated and you go out there with a game plan that is fitting the opposite team, then in most cases, they're gonna have you figured out, and that's pretty practically what we all are dealing with here, right? And I know I'm getting off to a slow start right now, so just stay with me because you guys have to understand this. You have to hear this. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is that we're playing a game that's not built for us, right? I'm not saying that there's not people that has certain success in the money game because there are certain people that are very very well off. But to the contrary, most of those people are the top 1% of all money earners. And I went over that in prior videos. Those are the oligarchies of the world. But the 99% are the people that are constantly chasing the dollar, you know, thinking that at some point they're going to get ahead. They're going to get, you know, in a position where they could just stop working so hard, right? A lot of you millennials, if you're millennials watching this, which I know I do because I've done my analytics and I have, a fair amount of Gen Z uh, watchers and I have a fair amount of millennial watchers. Now, millennial watchers, question to you. How many times did you hear your parents say that they just they just got to do this, they just got to do that before they can get, in a resting place where they can actually relax and enjoy life? You heard it all the time. And for the majority of the millennials that are watching this, most of them relied on winning the what? The lottery, right? And that's an example right there that that they will mentally will never get to where they're asking to be. Because if you got to win the lottery, supposedly 500 billion or 300 billion, whatever these false numbers that these states are claiming to give people, which we can also get into that, but that's a topic for another video. But if your parents have to consistently rely on the lottery in order to win the money game, then what's the point? Because we know that winning the lottery is 0.00000000000.1%, which in all actuality you got a better chance of getting struck by lightning twice. So the issue that I'm having is that people just won't talk about these things, man. They won't bring this to light. They use all these little, spectrums that that are used for distractions in order to self-soothe or somehow be able to ignore what's going on. Because these guys over in Capitol Hill, they're enjoying this shit. Because I've watched them over the years talk about certain things that are very repetitive, that has no solution. And I believed at some point that they were actually going to get to, to a certain place where they can actually be there to help us as U.S. citizens. But what I found out was, let's say the Treasury, the Department of Treasury, these guys are not even, they're not even a part of the U.S. when it comes to, like how the president is, right? They're not a part of the U.S. They're considered a corporation. They're considered a separate entity, and most people have they have no idea that that's even true. But go do the research. Those people are up there telling you that we're at 2.5% inflation, 3-point inflation, or 3% inflation. All of these these fake represented numbers that keep you thinking that you're some point you're going to be told, oh, inflation is back on, is back in place now. They're never going to say that. You guys are going to have to at some point start doing research where you can understand what these guys are doing up there. Because the bad part about it is that all we've ever done is chastise ourselves, right? And tell each other, oh man, you ain't doing shit. You might as well go get you another job. Oh, go over there and get you an education or additional education. As if the education that you went to school for 12 years it has no use. That's why. But then when you go get a higher education, you got to pay for that. That shit ain't free. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then when you're done with that, there's no guarantee that you'll even get anything that's worthwhile to even pay the shit back that you owe. The money game is rigged. You get it? The inflation numbers are rigged. The Department of Treasury is rigged. And it's funny because as I was doing some prior research, and I was understanding that the US, in my opinion, is a corporation. But if you ask anybody else, or if you're trying to be politically correct, it is considered a country, right? Why is it considered a country? Because the country has what they call amendments and bipartisan laws, etc. However, do we not run off of profits and margins? We do, right? So if we're running off of profits and margins throughout this entire country, how is this not a corporation? See what I'm saying? And these are the little fine details that you guys don't see. And you'll never see if you continue to be distracted. But that's all I got for you guys. Appreciate you guys taking the time to come and check out this video for better information, awareness, truth. And we'll continue to keep dropping these videos. So if your thoughts aligned with my thoughts, like and subscribe to this video. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.